Hey YouTube, your eyes are not deceiving you. We have another week of Fossil Cup. So I'm going to talk about the couple pros of Fossil Cup. I'm going to rip Niantic, and then we're going to look at some top teams. So it is Master League and Fossil Cup again. The Fossil Cup is very limited in meta. There's like 15 usable Pokemon. Here is the list. Let me just move it over here a little bit. So Poliwrath, Registeel, Fairthorn, Quagsire, Ludicolo, Lantern, Jellicent, Escav, Lucario, Pelipper, Mantine, Magnezone or Togedemaru, depending on your electric choice, Berserker, and Sandslash. And that is the Golisopod. That is the 15 Pokemon that you will be using and you will be seeing. So I talked about, I will give a pro to this. Your ability to learn the meta is very easy here. And what I mean by that is in the Open Great League, there could be like 40, 50 usable Pokemon, right? And each Pokemon have different typings and movesets and counts and everything like that. And how each matchup plays out is different. When there's 10 to 15 Pokemon that is used by every single person, after a week of battling, you should have two things. One is you should have three things really. You should have a team that works already if you've been playing for a week. If you don't, I got some teams for you. Number two, you should have an idea of the matchup. So it's like, I know Poliwrath's going to get killed by Jellicent, so I better have an answer to Jellicent. If I see a Jellicent, I've got an instant swap, right? So you know the matchups. And the third thing is you'll know the count. You should know probably the counts, right? It's like, so if you bring up Poliwrath here, I think it's, I was going to say 7 and 8 for Icy Wind and Dynamic Punch. So 8 for the Dynamic Punch on the first one, and Icy Wind should be 7. Where is Icy Wind? Right there, 7, right? So after playing so many, you're just like, yeah, I know how many it is to an Icy Wind and how many it is to a Dynamic Punch. So the pro of a second week of a limited cup is that you are able to just take everything you learned from the first week and try and run hard. That's the pro. Here are the million cons and Niantic's laziness. The meta is rock, paper, scissors to a certain extent. There are teams that work, but they can just as easily be countered. There's basically triangles of like Pokemon that work. Poliwrath can get walled by Jellicent. Jellicent's going to have problems against like Lantern and Fairthorn's going to have like Poliwrath. It's just a combo. Or actually, Lantern will be beaten by like Fairthorn, yeah. And Fairthorn will be beaten by Poliwrath. So it's kind of just like a little triangle. The limited cups with 3 typings are always, three typings or less, always have 10 to 15 Pokemon that are used by everyone because they just rise to the top naturally. So being in a meta where you can basically only use 15 Pokemon for 2 weeks straight is brutal. It gives you no opportunity to be creative. It gives you no opportunity to try new Pokemon and have fun. It's just basically like choose your meta Pokemon and try not to get hard countered in the certain matchups, but that you know there's a couple of those out there for you. And it's really lazy from Niantic's part that we really have not had new cups in multiple years now. It's just they have all these cups on the back that they've all done once, twice, 10 times some of these cups, like Kanto Cup back in the day, that they just like pull out, plug in, and don't even think about it. I'm glad they gave us a great league, right? One of the pros I missed is you get a great league option during Master League, so that's always a positive, but like, come on. So what does that mean? Here are some teams that have worked. Starting with the team that I'm going to showcase of a person who went from 2300 to Legend. You'll see this coming up next week. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe early next week, I think I put it. But it's Togedemaru, Jellicent, Fairthorn. So it's ABA Week 2 fighting. But the main fighters, Escav, Lucario, and Poliwrath, with Wild Charge Togedemaru, you're going to grab a shield anyways, right? So just grab the shield. Jellicent's the super hard punish to those. And then Fairthorn should roam free in the back, right? So it's ABA weak to fighting, where you're pretty much, unless it's like a Mud Boy, I'd say. If it's a Quagsire or something, then you probably get out. But if it's not a Quagsire, and even if it's like a Poliwrath or a fighter, you're staying in and then throwing the wall charge, or baiting and then throwing the wall charge, trying to grab shields in that scenario there. So that is how you play team number 1 there. Team number 2 is Registeel, Lantern, Poliwrath. So the main thing was like you're double weak to grass in the back. You can play it as an ABB style team if you want. It's not a true ABB because here's the thing. ABB and the fact that they both share water weakness and are both weak to grass. So you can like try and draw out a grass with one of the Pokemon and then punish for the Registeel and then the other one roams free. The problem is if you save swap Poliwrath, you may draw out a Jellicent. So you can't really do that. And if you do save swap Lantern and you draw out a Ferrothorn, man, that thing's coming out with 100 energy and going to take you down. So it's not the best play there. So what you could do is just like let it go and just, if you see a Ferrothorn, you can kind of combo with something like that. Registeel is an answer to grass. Registeel is weak to fighting, and then Poliwrath should deal like there's most fighters outside of there's a mirror match or the other fighters Poliwrath can deal with, and then Lantern's just pretty good, deals with Jellicent and Poliwrath and Gliscopod. So all of these things that are pretty much everywhere. So Lantern's pretty safe. Just watch out for Ferrothorn. This one was ABB Fighter. So Escav is your safe swap, which is why I'm running Drill Run. You try to draw out a Poliwrath. You try to draw out a Jellicent with the Escav. Lose, but you chip with Drill Run and Air Release, and then you get back on the Lantern and beat it, and then the Lucario roams free in the back. Try to save shields for Lucario. Lucario is very, very, very glassy in this meta. So try and grab shields with Escav and Lantern, and then save two shields for Lucario. But man, if you get in some of those scenarios, like Lucario can be a fast move down, so just don't oversave for no reason, sort of thing. You gotta use your head. Quagsire, Registeel, Pelipper. So this is Quagsire with Mud Bomb, Stone Edge can kind of deal with. I mean, you're double weak to grass, so that there's no getting around that. But even that, you can neutral Mud Shot, Mud Bomb on Ferrothorn, and then it's like you got neutral for Poliwrath, you got neutral for Jellicent. You can hit super effective with the Stone Edges on the flyers like Pelipper and Mantine. Quick like spammy. So Quagsire does have some play in this meta. And then Registeel I've kind of already gone over. And then Poliwrath will be your biggest weakness on the front end, so put in Pelipper to deal with the Poliwrath on the back end. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating trying to like talk about the team saying the same like 10 Pokemon over and over again. Sandslash, Lantern, Jellicent. This is basically Sandslash is double weak to fighting in the front. So you're gonna have Jellicent as the hardest answer to fighters in the back, and then Lantern will deal with pretty much all the other fighters as well. If you get hit with a fighter on the lead, I would probably say swap Jellicent, just because again Lantern can get absolutely walled by Ferrothorn, and you really don't want that scenario. So Jellicent can hit pretty much everything. You will lose a lot of matchups, but it does hit everything pretty hard. This was my anti-Poliwrath team: Ferrothorn, Gliscopod, and Jellicent. Jellicent, we already talked about, was one of the hardest answer. Ferrothorn does lose to Poliwrath because the counters add up, but shields down, that power is super effective and it does hit really hard. And then Gliscopod, a bug, water, so resist every single move that Poliwrath has, plus hits super effective. I ran with Air Lace on it, so it hits super effective with the Air Lace. That is your anti-meta team. If you want it, double to electric in the back, but again, that's why Ferrothorn is on the lead to deal with that. Lucario, Pelipper, Lantern. Jesus. This was one that I essentially, as long as you don't see a fighter on the lead, you stay in with Lucario, you use your shields advantage, and then try and get alignment on the back, so that if you see like a Jellicent, you can get your Lantern on it, or if you see a Ferrothorn, you can get your Pelipper on it. That's essentially how I played the team. So just kind of like over shield on the beginning with Lucario, try and fight for switch, and then take it with whatever in the back. And then the last one kind of looks like one of the other ones. They all kind of look the same at this point. Quagsire, Mantine, Poliwrath. I already talked about Poliwrath and did I even talk about Poliwrath? Poliwrath is just like super strong outside of like the Flyers and Jellicent, which are pretty tough for it. Even Flyers you can hit neutral with Icy Wind, but Jellicent's the hardest one. But Mantine is Mantine or Pelipper? Choose your man. They each have their strengths and weaknesses. Mantine just obviously has that bulk and 5 to an aerial ace, is super strong and is very, yeah, I already said bulk. So obviously it's a great answer to your Poliwraths and stuff and your fighters in general. This team is ABA weak to electric. So this was a subscriber who hit legend with the team. And what they said was, if you see a lantern or you see a grass on the front, because Quagsire is double weak to grass in the back, you just stay in, soft lose, go to the one that beats it, and then go from there. So it's basically you're pretty much staying in with almost everything except for maybe Jellicent you'll probably get out. But that is it. Yeah. Get ready for some more Fossil Cup, because otherwise it's Master League. I may try and do my catching video, the sort of tips and tricks to catching in GBL. So I'm going to try to do that. I keep forgetting to like label my battles and then I delete them, so it's tough to I don't have as many as I thought I would, but we'll see if I can get those by then. Okay, anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.